All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got another big one for you today. There's so much stuff going on. So in just a second, I'm going to lead with the new absolutely pathetic and desperate attack that's being used on Tim Walz. Guys, they have nothing on this man. They have absolutely nothing on this man. In fact, it just came out that he literally doesn't own a single stock. Like, a huge problem we've all had with our politicians is that they have all these conflicts of interest and they have their investments and they represent their donors and the lobbyists and they care more about their stock portfolio than the American people. Tim Walz doesn't even own a fucking stock. He doesn't even have real estate. He's got like the one place that he lives and that's it. Like, they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. They're totally unhinged. So I'll give you the new line of attack. Then I'm going to get to, oh my God, it's now like canon on the right and in some segments of the media that Kamala Harris is an anti-Semite. Even though she's married to a Jew, it doesn't count. And I'll explain why they say this. Then we'll get to, shockingly, Fox News had a moment of clarity where they kind of admitted that Walz is the real deal. That's an interesting clip. Cenk Uygur absolutely smacks down Piers Morgan for his lies about Tim Walz. And then we have a Fox host finally fed up with Trump's lies. And Twitter decided to sue their own advertisers or potential advertisers for the dumbest possible reason. So we'll do that and more. Everybody do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel. That helps out massively. It costs you nothing. I'm trying to get that new sexy ass 10 million plaque. It's going to be a while, but you build it one at a time. So hook a brother up with that. And by the way, thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. We can't do it without you. Remember, I don't have any advertisers for this show. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser in my life. I've made a choice to do that because I think that's the way you do the right show. I don't want to have any conflicts of interest whatsoever. So you guys fund it $2 at a time, $5 at a time, and it means the world, man. So again, I deeply appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. So JD Vance, fresh off reeling at the funny joke attack that he fucks a couch that Tim Walz made at his first rally speech. He's not happy, right? He's not happy. So he decides to launch a new attack at Tim Walz, hoping this one will stick. And it's very reminiscent of what George W. Bush did to John Kerry in 2004. It was a very similar line of attack where it's like John Kerry, his military service was questioned, right? And they tried to turn him into a bad guy over something that is viewed as like a strength, right? It's a very specific strategy here. So let's watch and then I'll break it down for you.
I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself, to me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre.
Okay, so right off the bat here, that's not what he's doing. And you know that's not what he's doing. He's effectively calling you a sellout, and that's correct. You act like, oh, you know, I'm one of the guys. I'm a working class person. Look at my background. But hold on. You wrote a book where you shit on working people, on regular people who are struggling to get by. Okay? Go watch the movie or read the book, Hillbilly Elegy, and you'll see very clearly. But more importantly, stop pretending like you didn't become a fucking venture capitalist, right? Stop pretending like you're not a careerist hack who desperately tried to climb the ladder. Back when it was fashionable to be an anti-Trump Republican, you were the anti-Trump Republican on all the mainstream media networks, and then the second you thought, hey, it's a better career move for me to hop on Trump's bandwagon and suck his nuts, that's exactly what you did. So he's calling you a sellout because you are a sellout.
What really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far-left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful.
Do you understand the line of attack they're going with here? In fact, there was an article that came out. There was one, I think, what was it, a Newsweek? Daily Beast or something like that. There's another article that came out criticizing Tim Walz for this. Then we get this piece in New York Post. Tim Walz left the National Guard Battalion hanging and slithered out the door before Iraq deployment. So let's be clear about the argument. He's saying, hey, you know that war that I, J.D. Vance, say is wrong, Donald Trump says is wrong, the majority of the country says is wrong, Tim Walz says is wrong. The fact that he caught on to it faster, The fact that he knew this is bad, this is based on a lie, this war is bullshit, the fact that he figured that out and then lived those values and made the decision accordingly, I'm going to attack him for that. You're attacking him for being right sooner than most people. That's the attack. Put yourself in Tim Walz's shoes. You're in the military, right? Then you learn, holy shit, they're really building up a propaganda campaign to send us to Iraq, to attack a country that didn't attack us, and to attack a person they're lying about and saying he has weapons of mass destruction. This guy worked with Osama bin Laden, even though he didn't, right? You see all this coming and you go, I'm not okay with this. This is not like some World War II shit where you actually have Hitler is the embodiment of pure evil and we're going to step in on the side of pure good and defeat the madman. That's not what this is. That's not what this is at all. This is a horrible move and a war crime and illegal under international law. And what are you going to do in that scenario? I'll tell you what I do. I'm out that bitch instantly. And I will argue until I'm blue in the face that I'm making the right decision because I'm actually going to try to live my fucking values and tell the truth to people instead of lying and being a little Weasley prick like J.D. Vance. And he goes on to say, and he made a comment of, when I had the weapons, we shouldn't have these weapons that I had in Iraq. And, oh, you weren't in Iraq. Gotcha. Stolen valor, stolen valor, stolen valor. Except Tim Walz has repeatedly talked about the fact that he dropped out before the war in Iraq. When he ran in 2006, he was running because he was against the war in Iraq when he first got to Congress. What are you doing? How desperate and pathetic. The argument is literally, he did stolen valor, even though he didn't. And the argument is literally, you lived your values and knew the war was bullshit before most people, and so you didn't go. So follow this logic through. What he's saying Tim Walz should have done, he's saying, in that scenario, you know the war is wrong, you know it's bad, you know it's bullshit, you know it's based on lies. The right thing to do is to shut your brain off and just go along with the crowd. That's what he's saying. Now, I feel bad for people who weren't onto the fact that it was bullshit, right? I feel horrible for those people. I feel horrible for people who lost their fucking lives over there. It was criminal that they were sent there in the first place. But your line of attack is, he was right. And he was right before other people. And so now I'm going to attack him for it. This is not going to fucking work yet again. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. Because you're trying to portray him as a liar and as a coward, and he's neither of those things. And the reason why you're trying to do now character attacks is because you know you can't get away with policy attacks because he's right on the policy. So what do? Oh, he's a far left radical. Guys, how many times have we been through this? You want to call it radical to give free school breakfast and free school lunch to kids and to raise workers' wages? You want to call that radical? Call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're right. So, man, it's dark, bro. This is dark. This is ugly. They know they got nothing, so now they're doing gutter politics. Disgusting, grotesque, slimy, Weasley politics. Trying to use some hacky-ass arguments to take down a guy who's currently pummeling them repeatedly. So good luck with that. It ain't 2004 anymore, bitch. You can't get away with some shit like this like they did get away with it against John Kerry. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. So go ahead. Proceed. Let me know how that goes. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.